Hi, it's Paulina, and welcome to the My Best Self podcast, where we become the best version of ourselves. So today's topic is how to let go, and overall, how to choose yourself and choose your self-respect over somebody else's quote unquote love. What does that even mean? It means to understand that you're better off alone than with the wrong person. It means mejor sola que mal acompañada. I don't know if you've heard that phrase before. If you speak Spanish, you've probably heard that phrase before. If not, it literally means that I'm better off alone than with the wrong company. And so if you're watching this video, then maybe it's for a reason. Maybe you chose to click on this video because you know it's time to let go of that relationship, that situationship, that person that you're dating, or you realize it's not the right fit. So we're gonna get into that today. And I felt really inspired to make this episode actually because I made a little TikTok and I literally had that as like the text in the video. If you have to choose between your self-respect or someone else's quote unquote love, choose yourself. I made that video and so many people resonated with it. So many people said, oh my gosh, like this is a sign for me. And I was like, you know what? I think this is a good topic to talk about. And I think that it ties perfectly into being your best self because it's really hard to be your best self when you have a situation like this tying you down and when you're using all your energy, spending all your energy on one person and on a person that is not doing anything for you but hurting you. So whatever your situation may be, the first step in letting go is asking yourself, what does this person provide for me that I feel like is missing in my life? Usually when we are in this situation where you know somebody's not good for you and you keep going back continuously to them or you can't seem to let go, it's because you believe that they are giving you something that you can't give yourself. So you have to be honest with yourself here. Reflect on this. What is this person providing in my life that I feel like I need them for? What void is this person filling in my life? Because oftentimes it's not even the person we're so obsessed with, it's actually the feeling they bring us. So you have to reflect on, why am I really so attached to this person? Because if they were really that great of a person, if they were really that great of a match for me, then I wouldn't even be in this situation. I wouldn't even be questioning anything. I wouldn't have to let them go. So what is it that I'm really attached to here? And only you are gonna know the answer to that question. But I will say a lot of the times you're feeling that void within you that maybe doesn't feel deserving of love, maybe doesn't feel loved. Oftentimes that's what it is. So once you have that answer, what am I really attached to here? You have to ask yourself, how can I give myself this feeling rather than using them as a vehicle to have this when they're hurting me? And when you reflect on this, and we're gonna get more deeper into this later on in the episode, but once you reflect on this, you're gonna be able to take this person off the pedestal that you have them on, because you're gonna realize they're not the one that I want. They're not what I'm over here being obsessed over. What I'm really obsessed over is having this feeling of maybe inner love, this feeling of worthiness. Maybe it's my ego that needs to be validated. Whatever it is, you're gonna take them off that pedestal and you're gonna look deeply and you're gonna understand the bigger picture of things. Before getting into the actionable steps, how to let go, I just feel the need to give you this little pep talk. Girl, you have to stand up. Like you have to stand up. Sometimes in life, you need to stand up. And this might sound harsh, but it's the truth. You need to see people at face value. And you need to understand that somebody's going to treat you exactly the way that they feel about you. And not only are they going to treat you exactly the way they feel about you, but people are also mirrors. Keep this in mind. You're over here using this person to fill a void of not feeling worthy enough and not having enough love in your life. But the thing is, you're a mirror. So this person is going to mirror that back to you. Why do you think this person will never fill that void? Why do you think this person will never be able to give you the love that you truly deserve? Because you are a mirror. And when you don't have that foundation, when you don't have that love for yourself, a lot of the times, I'm not saying that it's every single time, but more often than not, you're going to find people that reflect that back to you. So regardless, that feeling that you're chasing, you're not truly going to have. You're not going to have that real security until you can give it to yourself. And so when someone shows you who they are, and when someone reflects that back to you, believe it and move forward. And it's okay. They don't see your worth. If they can't see your worth, that's okay too. It doesn't mean that you're not worthy, and it doesn't mean that you're not valuable. You weren't put on this earth for somebody to validate your worth. You are worthy simply because you're alive. So you have to understand that. And especially as a woman, don't forget who you are. don't forget that you can literally create life. You are literally a portal to God. So never feel like you're not worthy because you were born inherently worthy. And to put your worth in somebody else's hands and to let them decide whether you're good enough or not, that's such a disservice to yourself. And you have to understand, until you feel like what I just said is true, then maybe you need to take a step back and work on yourself before you even try to go out and have a relationship or have a romantic connection. You have to understand your worth. Let's use this analogy. Let's say you haven't ate all day. When you go out, what are you gonna eat? You're gonna eat the first thing that you see. You're gonna be so hungry that you're gonna take whatever you can get, and it doesn't really matter. That's what happens when you go out into the world and you don't have that foundation of love for yourself and you don't have that foundation of knowing how worthy you are. You go out and you accept whatever you can get. You accept breadcrumbs because you think that's all you're worthy of, because you're going out there with a void. So instead, let's pretend you ate a filling breakfast, you have a fridge full of food, you ate a little snack, and now you're going out, and eventually you start to get a little hungry. Are you gonna go for the first thing you see? No, you're gonna really ask yourself, what do I want? What am I craving? What is gonna make me really feel good? And you're gonna go and you're gonna get that. And you're gonna get the best that you can. And it's the same thing when you go out into the world and realize that you are worthy and realize that you're whole and you're more than enough. You're not gonna just accept anything. You're gonna take the best that you can get. So it's time to accept things for what they are. Also accept that when somebody else is not giving us a certain type of validation that we expect from them, it can hit us where it hurts the most. It can hit your ego. And when your ego is hurt, you're gonna spiral and you're gonna think of every which way that things could have been different. And you're gonna think of every possibility where you could have been better, you could have been good enough, or you could have made it work. But the truth is, it simply didn't work. And that's okay. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. You just weren't meant to be with that person. And that's completely fine. You have to remember how many people there is out in this world. You're not going to match with every person that you meet, and that's fine. And even if you do, you might just not be meant to be in each other's lives forever, and that's completely fine. And it's not a reflection of your worth. So now what are the steps in actually letting go? I'm going to give you 2 different routes. And the first route, this is the toxic route. As much as we hear other people's advice, I truly believe sometimes we just have to learn for ourselves. Unfortunately, sometimes people's words can only be so heavy when we've never experienced this on our own. So what I'm about to tell you, I have done it before and I don't recommend it. Like I said, I'm not recommending this, but it does work. Sometimes you have to stick around. And I'm not recommending this, especially because you don't want to waste your time. The more time that you waste in this situation, the worse you're gonna be. The more it's gonna hurt you, the more it's gonna damage you, the more trauma it's gonna cause. So I don't recommend this. But sometimes this is the only way that somebody's going to learn. It's when they stay and stay and stay and they stay with this person, disrespect after disrespect. I've done this before, not in a relationship, but I've had a talking stage where I was like so obsessed with this guy. This was in high school, keep in mind. And he would just like kind of breadcrumb me. He would like randomly ghost me. And eventually he just did something that really hurt me. And I realized what I meant to him, and which was literally nothing. He did that like final thing that was my last straw. Completely fell back. I ghosted him because he deserved it. He actually deserved to be ghosted. You know, I went no contact and I moved forward with my life. But in order to get to that point, I had to be disrespected continuously over and over and over again. I was putting my heart into someone that genuinely could care less about me. And that's why I'm not recommending you do this. But if that's the only way that you can do it, sometimes you just have to endure disrespect. Sometimes you have to just endure whatever it is. And I don't mean this in like endure abuse. I think that's a whole different thing. And, you know, this is not the episode for that. This is just simply about like somebody just putting you on the back burner, ignoring you, not being a good partner to you. When you endure that enough, it builds this like resentment inside of you to the point where you can't see that person the same and you physically have to leave. You can't stay with them and you don't want to stay with them. This is the toxic advice, like I said. I don't recommend you do this. I really, really recommend instead skip through all of that. Don't waste your time on that. Understand already why you feel this way. They have already disrespected you in some way, shape, or form. They've already shown you they don't want you. They've already shown you who they are. Why keep wasting your time? Why continue to get hurt? Just simply do the second part. Ghost them and walk away. Or you don't have to ghost them unless they deserve to be ghosted. Some people do deserve to be ghosted. Walk away, blocked, deleted. out of sight, out of mind, and move forward. But if it's a different situation, I do think that communication is important, and you can simply say, I wish you the best, but I don't think that this is gonna work out. And just close that chapter, remove them from social media, block them, and try your best to just move forward with your life and do not break that no contact. And I understand that it's hard. And not only is it hard because it can hurt your heart, it's also, when it comes to love, your brain is literally sending out chemical signals and chemical reactions. Love is literally like a drug to your brain. So when you just completely cut this person off, it's like you're gonna be going through withdrawals. You're gonna be thinking about them. You're gonna be craving them. It's not gonna be the easiest thing in the world, but you have to let your self-respect fuel you forward. Because at the end of the day, you have to remember, people know how to treat people. They know. And men are not dumb. They know how to treat you. They know how to treat the woman that they want. And if you're not that woman, they're not treating you that way. They showed you how they feel about you. They treated you exactly how they feel about you. Believe them and don't let them have to tell you twice. And something else to keep in mind when you're going through this and you really want this person, being with the wrong person can literally ruin your life in several different ways. And the partner that you choose for yourself, this is the partner that is going to dictate so much about your world. So ask yourself what you really want. And I promise you, it's not going to be the person that constantly gives you anxiety and gives you negative feelings. I promise you that. Let them go now while it's not too late. And also for the girls out there that don't have kids yet, girl, don't choose the wrong parent for your kids. Don't choose the wrong dad for your kids. Don't end up having to be tied to someone forever if that's not the person that's going to be a good partner and a good father for your children. And I think as women, we have to take responsibility and accountability. At the end of the day, we do get to choose that person for our children. And I understand that, some women have not been educated on this or they've had to learn it the hard way. I say this out with all the love in my heart, but you have to understand you are choosing that person and it's your responsibility. At the end of the day, it's your responsibility to choose wisely. And I've always been told this from a very young age by my mom, by my grandma, choose your husband wisely. Because at the end of the day, you do have a choice. You don't have to accept crumbs. You don't have to accept the bare minimum. And it's not easy, like I said, but it's as simple as walking away when it's not the right person. Stop compromising your sanity. Stop compromising your literal life for someone who clearly doesn't care about you. And it's the hard truth, but it's a truth that a lot of people need to hear. You know what the best part is of letting go of someone is that now you have all this newfound free time. Now you have this extra motivation to go after what you want. And I just want to say, a lot of the times when people end a relationship or they end a situationship or they get hurt by somebody, their ego takes a hit, like I mentioned before. It does something powerful to them. It's powerful in a positive and negative way. It pushes them to strive for more in their life. It gives them this fuel of like, you know what? I'm going to prove to you that I'm worthy enough. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to work on my body. I'm going to work on my growth. I'm going to work on my career. And this is all great. It's amazing to work on these things, but don't forget, you don't have to work on this because your ego told you to. You don't have to work on this because you want to be good enough for this person. You don't have to be constantly thinking, oh, I'm going to prove to them. I'm going to show them wrong. Because the truth is, when you're living in that energy, all you're doing is continuing to put that person on a pedestal. You're continuing to waste your energy on them because you want to show them, because you're going to be the one that got away. You're going to be the one that they can't stop thinking about. You're going to be this. And I understand where that sentiment comes from. I do. And I've had that sentiment in the past. But the thing is that you have to remember is that now you're living through your ego and now you're still trying to get validation from this person, and you're gonna keep them on your social media so they can see you out and about and they can see that you look so good and they can see you're doing so well for yourself. You have to remember, when you're doing this, you're still looking for that external validation. Stop looking for that external validation. Use this time, yes, to grow, to strive for more, to push yourself to live a better life, but do it for you. Do it because now you have more time to do so. Do it because you want to put your energy into something that's going to serve you instead of putting your energy all into this person who's hurting you. It should be none of your business if they see you doing well or not. Because the truth is also, you have to remember, this person clearly doesn't care about you. And I say this with all the love in my heart, this person doesn't care about you. So why would they care if you're doing good or not? Why would they care if you leveled up? to be honest with you, they're probably not even looking at you. They're probably on to the next. They're probably doing their own thing. It shouldn't be something that you're worried about, whether they're watching you or not, whether they see your growth or not. Because if it is, then you're living from your ego. And I can make a whole episode all about the ego, because there's so much to be learned from that, and there's so much growth that you can make when you stop letting your ego run your life. I can do a whole episode on that if you guys are interested in it. But yeah, focus on yourself, focus on bettering yourself, not to prove something to anyone, but simply because you want to better yourself. You want to use this pain and use this hurt and say, you know what, I'm gonna transmute this energy, I'm gonna put this all into me. I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna work on my spiritual health, my mental health, work on my physical health. I'm gonna go travel. I'm gonna go try this new hobby I've been wanting to try. I'm gonna put myself out there in a different way. I'm gonna do this thing that I've been wanting to do. Strive to do things that make you happy and keep yourself occupied at the same time. That's gonna help you heal a lot faster. Keeping yourself busy, keeping your mind busy, having a full and beautiful life. And it ties back to our analogy from earlier about an empty stomach. When you don't have a life full of beauty in it, when you're constantly just caught up in this person and you neglect your full life, you neglect your friendships, you neglect your own self, you neglect your hobbies, of course, you're gonna crave this person. But when you fill your life up, when you fill it up with beautiful things, you're gonna have so much life to live that you're not even gonna be thinking about this person. So overall, remember, a person will treat you the way they feel about you, and that is completely okay. All we can really do is say, all right, take that information and move forward and let go and focus on ourselves, because a relationship should be an addition to your life, never a subtraction. If somebody's bringing pain into your life, you have your own answer. Now it's time to let go, it's time to move forward, and it's time to do better for you. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I truly hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned from it. If you're listening on Spotify, I would love to ask you if you can rate the podcast if you're enjoying it. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, to like the video. It helps a lot. So I will see you on next Monday at 10 a.m. PST. That is the time that we'll be posting every single week. So thank you so much for listening. I love you, and I hope you have a great rest of your Monday.